Men, I know it can be tough for us to find good clothing these days, so today's sponsor is True Classic. True Classic sent me a handful of t-shirts as well as a long sleeve earlier this week, and I can be honest with you and say I have worn them every day since. One of the things I'm sure you can relate to, especially with us gamers, is we want to be confident when we go out. One of the things that can immediately help that is what you're wearing. These True Classic shirts fit really well. They also feel really nice. Like, these are as soft as my pajamas. And I'm well and truly happy to say that these have been added to my collection for not only clothes to wear at home, but actually clothes to go out in. True Classic premium tees are designed for guys' bodies. They accentuate your arms and shoulders to make you, look a bit bigger. Make you stand out a bit more, you know what I mean? They wash well, and they're reasonably priced as well. Look, lads, I was actually pretty skeptical. I'm not one to normally recommend a specific brand of clothing to someone because I feel like that's a personal thing, but these are actually shirts that I can happily recommend to you. So get 25% off of any full price True Classic item. Use the code TGG or use the link that's at the top of the description and on your screen now. That's trueclassictees.com/TGG, and thank you to True Classic for sponsoring today's video. Grand Theft Auto Offline. Let's talk about it. This is a topic that has been brought up by a couple of other amazing YouTubers in the GTA Online space, both GTA Man and Gilly Master, so I'll leave a link to their videos in the description below. And it's all about the concerns with how GTA Online is currently set up. Ever since day one, October 1st, 2013, Grand Theft Auto Online was meant to be a multiplayer experience. And for a very long time, it was. Almost all of the contact missions when the game came out had to be completed with at least 2 people. When the heist update eventually came out in the middle of 2015, all of the heists needed to be completed with 4 players, except of course for the Fleecer job. That one needed 2. But ever since then, we have slowly seen the transition of Grand Theft Auto Online going from a game where you need at least 4 people to a game that now can essentially be completed all by yourself. Now, I don't know about you, but it doesn't quite feel right that a game that's called Grand Theft Auto Online is almost impossible and definitely not beneficial to be played with other players. We have now gotten to a point where it's basically just as, maybe even more effective to play solo than to actually play with friends. And in a game titled Grand Theft Auto Online, that is a problem. So let's first talk about why that is. Why do so many players play this game by themselves? Now, a pessimist would answer that question by saying, well, these guys just don't have friends. But that couldn't be further than the truth. To start this discussion off, we're going to have a look at businesses and the way they're currently set up. Let's start with everyone's favorite sale missions, the MC businesses. Now, in order to sell a full MC business, it's going to spawn somewhere between 3 or 4 vehicles most of the time. On the surface, that doesn't seem like too much of a problem, but there are a couple of massive problems, so let's have a look at them. The first one is you're tasked with driving some of the worst vehicles in the game all the way across the map to these certain points to deliver them. Now, here you are driving 3 slow garbage trucks all the way across the map, and little Timmy in his $6.5 million laser jet gets alerted that you're selling this and can very easily just come over and blow you up whenever he likes. That happens very often. For most players, that happens most of the time. Now, we'll touch on that again in the solutions section in the later half of this video, but for now, I'll just leave it and say that I don't think a $6.5 million jet has any business being in a fight with a garbage truck. The second problem is, yes, of course you could get your friends to help you sell these. However, that's kind of a hard thing to convince people to do. Outside of being a good person, there's really no incentive to actually help a friend sell their business stock. Now look, I get it. That seems like a really rough thing to say, that people are just bad people for not wanting to help their friends. But in a game where I can make $1.5 million by myself with the Cayo Perico heist, unless someone really wants to be the best friend ever, it's gonna be hard to convince people to help their friend drive those really slow vehicles all the way across the map for about 20 minutes for a measly, $75,000. The system in itself is broken from the start. When you help a friend sell their business, they are really the only one that actually benefits from it. You just get chump change. So Rockstar, noticing that people weren't really setting up heists or using businesses in public sessions, started off by letting you complete the heist setups in invite-only sessions, and recently in 2022, allowing you to complete all business sale missions in invite-only sessions as well. Meaning that now, you can essentially run every single business in the game without even having to interact with another player. And the blame here absolutely cannot be put on the community. I'm right there with you guys. I have no inspiration to go and do these sale missions in a public session and just get blown up. And you can't even really put this on the people that choose to ruin the experience for other players. No matter what game it is, if players are given the opportunity to grief other players, they will do it. Not everyone, of course, but that small percentage of people will ruin the experience for the rest of us. That's just what happens, and it's human nature. And heck man, I don't even blame the griefers for wanting to blow up your cargo. At its core, Grand Theft Auto Online was always built to be a player versus player game. Especially in free mode. Just think of the kill system. When you kill someone, it says 1 versus 0. One of the core mechanics of free mode is placing bounties on other players. Add on top of that when you actually sell a business in a public session, it says blow this person up. Players are encouraged and paid to blow up your cargo. So at the end of the day, I don't blame us for wanting to do these in invite-only sessions, I don't blame the griefers for griefing us, and I don't even blame Rockstar for letting us do this in invite-only sessions. We haven't even mentioned things like the PC cheating. This is something that was definitely needed, at least in the short term, to basically let these businesses actually be something we can use. So how do we actually fix this? How do we get people playing with their friends again outside of just doing it for shits and gigs? How do we get to a point where people want to complete heists with 2 players instead of 1? How do we get it to the point where people want to help each other complete sale missions? How do we get the game to a point where you actually want to go up and be nice to other players in free mode? How do we do it? Well, I've come up with a few solutions, but the reality is, this is most likely something that's gonna have to wait until GTA 6. I think Grand Theft Auto 5 by itself, it's gonna be too difficult to implement these changes, especially now, but I really hope this is something Rockstar has thought about throughout their development of Grand Theft Auto 6. So how do we fix this? Online games are much more fun when you're helping each other, as opposed to competing against each other. The competition can come in different ways. For example, there are PvP modes in the game like deathmatches. Competition can also come in ways like just having cooler cars than someone else. That in itself is a competition that players will want to compete in because, hey, I want the coolest car, I don't want to be driving a lame car around. From the ground up, free mode should be a cooperative experience instead of a player versus player one. So let's talk about business sale missions and how I would fix them. The first thing I would do is make it so that you don't actually need to be in a SecuroServe organization or a motorcycle club in order to sell these businesses. Now, that seems weird on the surface, but let me elaborate on it. If you choose to not be in an organization while you're selling these, your blip won't appear on the map to anyone else while you're in these missions. That way, even if you're in a public session, other players won't be alerted that you're selling business stock and they won't want to come over and kill you. However, if you choose to sell it in this mode, you wouldn't get the additional high demand bonus that you normally get when you sell in public sessions. In my opinion, this is a fantastic solution. It means players can stay in these public lobbies with their friends and other players while still being able to complete all of the stuff in the game completely solo if they wish. However, the second part to this theory is that you would also be able to sell these in your organizations if you choose to do so. So for example, if I'm selling a Coke lockup, I could choose to start up an MC club while I do it. If I choose to start up a motorcycle club, that's where the high demand bonus will come into play. That way, if I choose to do this, I'm essentially saying to everyone in the map, hey, come and kill me if you can. I'm willing to take that risk of selling it in a public lobby for that potential 50% bonus payout with the high demand bonus. If you're unaware of what the high demand bonus is, you're going to get an extra 2% on top of whatever you're selling your business stock for per player that's in that lobby, and that caps out at 50%. So if you're selling it in a lobby with 25 other players, you're going to get 50% more money than you normally would. However, this theory also suggests that if I'm in a motorcycle club while I'm selling this business stock, only only other motorcycle clubs can come and kill me. Why do I say that? Well, I don't think this random dude in a Securo serve with a massive $6.5 million jet realistically should have any reason to actually want to blow up my garbage truck. We could also go a step further and say if I'm selling my coke, only other MC clubs on motorbikes could be able to kill me as well. That would be an extra cool step to take. That way you actually kind of have a chance to protect yourself. Okay, TGG, that's pretty cool, but how are we going to get our friends interested in actually wanting to help us with this? We're still kind of just playing solo at this point, right? Well, this is where the high demand bonus comes into play. With this theory, every other person in my motorcycle club that helps me sell these businesses will also get that high demand bonus. So for example, if I sell $500,000 worth of counterfeit cash, and I'm in a full public lobby, I'm actually going to be getting $750,000 because of that 50% high demand bonus. So I'll be earning an extra $250,000. This theory suggests that every other player in my MC club helping me sell will also get $250,000. That's a decent enough size of money to actually get other players wanting to help their friends. I get $750,000. After all, I was the one that owned the business and restocked it several times. All of my friends that helped me get $250,000 for helping for those 15 to 20 minutes, and everyone wins at the end of the day. On top of that, we could even add in Gilly Master's suggestion that he made in his video. This idea suggests that not only would players not be instructed to blow up your vehicle, because that doesn't make sense, like just wanting to blow up my counterfeit cash for what? Like, it doesn't make much sense. Instead of being tasked with blowing up my counterfeit cash, they would actually be told to steal it and take it back to their business, sort of like a business battle. That way, if they actually successfully kill me, instead of just winning the battle then and there, they can actually gain a lot more because they can steal my $500,000 counterfeit cash truck and take it back to their business and make $500,000. But what that does is it also gives me time, and my friends time if they're helping me, to kill that person again and steal the vehicle back. It would create a really fun gameplay loop and actually encourage players to compete in PvP for reasons other than simply just being toxic. This could also be implemented with heist setups, for example, the casino heist and the Cayo Perico heist. If I'm delivering the Longfin and I choose to do it as a Securo serve, let's say maybe if I successfully complete it in a public session, I'll get an extra $50,000 as a bonus, whereas other players will be alerted to my location and they can instead steal the Longfin and deliver it, and then they won't have to do that setup for their Cayo Perico heist. In my opinion, just a much more fun way to approach PvP, while also making it effective for making money. The final thing I want to talk about is free mode events, and again, this is something that Gilly touched on in his video, and I want to expand on it and sort of give my 2 cents as well. Business battles, for what they are, actually kind of pretty cool. I don't hate the idea of business battles as they currently stand. However, I also think there's a massive opportunity to add a lot more of these public events and make them cooperative so the players can actually work together. If you've watched any of these videos from me before, you've probably heard me talk about Destiny 2. This is a game I play a lot, and Destiny 2 has these random events that occur in the world. They're called public events, where, for example, a massive boss spawns into the map and everyone in that location can team up, take down that boss, and get a bunch of loot for it. This is something I think we actually will see in Grand Theft Auto 6, but I don't see really any reason other than the game just being outdated that this couldn't also come to GTA 5. For example, let's say it pops up on the bottom of your map saying there's a Merryweather attack out in Sandy Shores. In theory, anyone who would choose to participate in this one could go out to Sandy Shores, perhaps we fight against a massive army of Merryweather, and if we successfully hold them all off, we get, let's say, a bunch of business stock each or just a few $100,000. This seems so strange because I know the concept of actually working together with other players in free mode is such a brain fuck, honestly, like it's weird. But in my opinion, it would make the game a lot more fun. So anyway, those are my ideas. I wanted to elaborate on the video from these other 2 guys, mainly because I know it's not actually something that Rockstar meant to happen. They've said in interviews just recently that they never thought most players would actually end up playing solo. They thought everyone wanted to play together. And I would actually counter that by saying people do want to play together, just the way it's currently set up in Grand Theft Auto Online doesn't work. And with some implementations like the one recommended in this video or in GTA Man or Gilly Masters videos, I think GTA Online would be in a much better spot in terms of players working together. Anyway, we'll wrap the video up there. What do you think of those ideas? I kind of just thought of those within a few hours. I'm sure the amazing brains at Rockstar could come up with something even better than that, but I think it's a cool idea to get the discussion rolling in that direction anyway. If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more stuff like this. I hope you're staying safe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!
Favorite color, money green. Paper. I've been on my grind since I was in the 7th grade. Had my first kid, I was only 17. Always a provider for my pack like Wolverines. But you won't find me on the mountaintop.